Hi, and welcome to week 5. I have this, I'm going to explain the correlation between tarot and the houses, well, the calendar year. And I have been checking on Sun, Mercury, Venus hit, I would say, I'd say around the 19th, 18th or 19th is when Venus actually hit. We had it projected back to the 10th, but I would say it didn't actually. Here it is. Here she is over here, close to Aries front hoof, right? And by contrast, there's where it would leave Pisces. She'd leave Pisces. So now that we're at, I've kind of waited till the midway point. Like there's the first star of Aries, right? So I kind of waited until she hit the halfway mark. I don't know if they consider that as soon as you're out of the Pisces constellation, you're counted as into Aries. But I would say if stars have any kind of impact on things, constellations, then I would expect that Pisces would still affect Venus if she's that closer to Pisces than to Aries, right? So that's my thinking. And that's probably what I'll stick with, because that's just logic. But anyway, because everything doesn't, of course, totally separate into 30 degrees even amongst the constellations, right? So there's going to be some wiggle room. Well, we'll decide once I've got everything written down. So Mercury, you can see, like there's the first star of Aries, right? So it's closer to Aries, so I'll count it as being in Aries energy. Sun though, Sun is kind of like right in the middle. We could say the Sun, did I say, well, yeah, no, I guess we could say that's, okay, let's say the Sun is in Aries. Let's change this and say that the Sun is in Aries. Sun in Aries. And that's the, oh God. Okay. As of today, I've got too many notes in Thursday already. Mars, yes, we've got that taken care of. Mars, oh, we're going to move up the chain. Where the heck? Find the chain. Okay, there's Taurus. Beautiful. Beautiful. So Mars is, there's the shared star Alnath of Taurus, and who's that? Auriga. So here's Mars, and we've got Gemini, right? So he's pretty much touching the toe now of Gemini. And so I would say easy Mars has been in that energy for a while. Possibly even the 20th or the 19th, but certainly wasn't there on the 13th. So these were Fagan-Bradley numbers I went with. So I'm going to check the other ionounces and see, like I said last time, I'll see what's what. But that gives me an idea of exactly how wrong every calendar of this book is going to be. But I wanted to catch up on that. And I'm just going to put the phone down somewhere. I'm really good at smashing phones. So that's where I'm at with that. It seems to be filling up. This calendar seems to be filling up with astrological information, which is pretty awesome. And so what I thought I'd do is, I know we're in 8th house, but I think some context is needed. So I've laid out all the cards in calendar order. I want to show how that, I want a visual, so I printed up a visual from the book to help so that you can see what I'm saying visually, yes? But before I get into that, I just wanted to print this page of what the numerology is that house 8 plus, like, well, according to the energies, so the water, the, what do I do next? Air, earth, don't I? Yes, and then fire. And so when we're analyzing 8th house, and then we go into 4th house and 12th house, yes, we're looking for what your gifts are. And I would say gifts for you personally. And then I would say when we come back to gifts in the 9th house, it's about the gifts. Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? Which are the more personal gifts, or if it's a mix. If this is how much it is to do with you. And I'm going to pause and relight this candle. But the focus, like a sense of direction, yes, for where we're going. Because the 8 of house 8, the 4 of house 4, and the 12 of house 12, the numerology of that, add them together. I mean, you can go into numerology till your head splits open, right? Gematria, all that. And I'm done. Because, yeah, it's like, well, I know enough math, I know enough arithmetic to know what I don't know, how much there is that I don't know, how much I'd have to become specialized, yes. But I do know a fair bit of it, even if I can't recall all of it in the moment, yes. But the same would be true for, it depends on how much you want, what your tasks are while you're here, and how much you need to know of each thing. But so the 8 plus 4 plus the 12, it gives you a digital sum of 6. 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 plus 12 is 24, 2 plus 4 equals 6, right? And 6 in tarot, in whatever else, it's the number of love, yes. It's also the overall number. It is one of the possible base numbers for numerology. I think we are in a base 5 or base 10. I think we're in base 10, and base 12 would be another possibility. So we're in a change-based mathematical universe. It would be nice to live in a love-based mathematical universe. I think that's probably what we're looking at in terms of where we want to get to in the multiverse. Not that change is bad. I'm just saying it brings with it life-death cycles that I'm not awfully fond of. Okay, so I've laid everything out in here. I took everything out of order in the book per se, so that I could put it in order for what I'm going to talk about tonight. So I printed these pages up to get us a visual layout that I can lay the cards down on. I'm going to go through the deck, the major and the minor arcana. This would be something I'd get more into in the book that I'm making specifically for, like, this version of the book for tarot, but an overview will help because it really does help clarify. And if you come back to this video, then you can double check. It's really handy to have a tarot deck. I would recommend getting one. This is my favorite, the Morgan Greer's, but you also know I love the Tattoo Tarot. But if you don't have your own deck, I would recommend getting one. Because it's like flashcards that they used to use in school, right? It can be that, even just for the sake of, you know, solving visually, like being able to lay things out and mess around with them to figure out how they relate and what they tell you about your placements in your chart. Okay, bear with me. Actually, you know what's going to be the fastest thing to do is put my hand right in that other candle. So that wick just didn't last. And we'll just put a new one in while we're filming. And that's the fastest thing to do. And I'll try to make it look exciting. No. There we go. And we'll just keep on rolling here. It's like a cursed candle holder tonight. Okay, so starting with the first house. Now, only briefly, this is to give you context. I won't get bogged down. We're still aiming for 8th house, right? But first house, the Fool, is represented. It's the house of the self. Yes, the Fool's journey. The Emperor card for Mars, which is affecting us because it's also a card that Mars also rules house number 8, okay? So the 1st and 8th house have that in common. They have Mars in common. This is the Emperor card, yes, and as I correlate Mars with your loves and your loyalties, right? Things you're willing to fight for and defend and protect, right? Okay, so that's that. Now, Aries season, the cardinals, we know that I changed things for air and earth classifications for cardinal, fixed, immutable, right? Okay, so this is where mine is going to be specific to pink spider, and other people would lay these out differently, okay? And I'll explain. But I put the aces. Normally the aces would land on the cardinal points, yes, but I put them in the cardinal, since I shifted 2 of the cardinal houses, right? I put them all in a row, okay? So Aries season is represented by, regardless of Aries, I didn't change, fire I didn't change, but you have your Ace of Wands. Let's say there's a day, 1 or 2 days at the beginning of Aries season that is represented by the Ace of Wands. Or you could say the whole of the Aries season is represented by the Ace of Wands. But the 2 of Wands, okay? And I'll get into more explanations when we get into Aries house, yes? So those are Ace through 4 of Wands. That's 1st house. Now you got Venus, the Empress, yes? Hierophant, Taurus, okay? And Ace through 4 of Pentacles for Taurus season, for 2nd house, yeah? And that's the thing that I've changed, because normally Taurus would be fixed earth for everybody else, okay? But I made it cardinal earth, all right? Now, 3rd house. And the camera cuts out, of course. So let's flip the page to get houses 4, 5, and 6. So 4 coming up after 8, right? In our order. High Priestess actually represents the moon, okay? Because ironically, the moon card represents Cancer in astrology, but in tarot it represents Neptune. Let's just say it represents all the water energy. Safe passage, as far as I'm concerned. Other people will call it anxiety card. It's not for me unless it's in reverse. It's my happy card. But you have sort of a scorpionic Cancerian figure, this lobster coming up out of the water, right? Safe in the moonlight. Because of course scorpions come out at night. Crabs will come out. Like, it's time to lay. That's how they lay their eggs and stuff, right? Okay. So moon. The Chariot card is Cancerian, yes. But I would also put that, because it's moving, I would put that through all the water signs. But that's 4th house, so we're dealing with, now water for everybody is cardinal energy. So Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 4 of Cups, okay? That's the 4th house. 5th house, Leo, creativity, ruled by the sun. Interestingly enough, the sun card, unlike the moon card, represents the sun. Strength card for Leo. 5, 6, 7 of Wands, because it's fixed fire. Okay. Virgo. Now this is where we need the Magician card back. Okay. I'll get it for visual, because if we don't do that, then the mind doesn't associate. Okay. So Virgo, card of Virgo, yes, and Mercury, because Mercury rules the 6th house as well, right? And here we have one of my changes, because I make Virgo fixed earth, yes. 5, 6, and 7 of Pentacles, okay? Those cards are the cards for the 6th house. Was I so smart that, yes, I am so smart that I did it this way. Okay. Now, 7, 8, 9. Where's Venus? We need Venus back, because Venus co-rules, right? 2nd house and 7th house. So Justice is the 7th house card. Venus ruling, yes. Okay. Let's put Justice in front. Again, because of the changes I made to air, so I put Libra and 7th house as fixed air. So the 5, 6, 7 of Swords. Then we come to happy submarine house, Scorpio. Okay. Now this is where we need that Emperor back. Wherever the heck he went. Where did he go? You think you've got a thing sorted. Okay? Because let's use this as a Pluto card. And let's turn off the fridge. Mars and Pluto co-rule, yes. 5, the happy card of 5 of Cups, 6 and 7 of Cups, okay? People will call this clouded thinking, but I call it transforming into many, many things simultaneously by stepping into both worlds, right? Working with the guides in all of this transformative stuff, right? Then we have the 9th house, the wheel, Jupiter, and Temperance, Sagittarius, okay? Patience, and the 8, 9, 10 of Wands, okay? 9th house. Let's gather those up. And I might as well leave 8th house out. We're going to start with that in earnest in a bit. Okay. And then back to, leave those there for reference. Back to now the 10th and 11th and 12th houses. Yes. Maybe that's confusing. I've got everything out of order anyway. Okay, deal with that after. 10th house, Capricorn energy. Gotta love. This is, the Devil card always looks so unhappy, but, well, it doesn't always. We go into the Tattoo Tarot, it's the Kali card, yeah? Now here I put in a couple of major arcana. The World card, which is the 10th house card, yes, career. But it's also like Saturn. Now these are actually star points. That's why these figures are on this card. But Saturn return, this Judgment card, I would consider Saturn return energy. So when things are boundaries and fears and calculated risks, I give that 3 cards. And so this is where I put the mutable earth, the 8, 9, and 10. Okay, energy. That would be that. Now, what I should have done is put this back. This is a possible 8th house card, okay? It's maybe half the readers or a lot of the readers consider classification of this as transformative energy of 8th house of Pluto and Scorpius. But enough people consider this to be an Aquarius card, and I'm one of them. Because of the energy of innovation, of taking something that you've built up, elevated, you've risen to the point to get perspective, to get a high perspective of things, and then there's like that moment of like, whoa, right? And you're that much closer to being susceptible to being hit by lightning, right? Because we've got lightning bolts here. So for me, I put this as an 11th house card, followed by the star, right? And because it's so Aquarius, and because it's so important that the star follow Aquarius, right? So another reason to put them together. So this would be Uranus energy, yes, Aquarius energy. And that, because I've changed the classifications, right, to mutable, make that the 8, the mastermind cards, 8, 9, 10 of swords, okay? Then finally we have Neptune and Pisces. Now we go back and we get that moon card, yes, that I put back in out of order, okay? And here we have, so this could just as easily represent, well, in tarot it does. In astrology it represents Cancer, but in tarot it represents Neptune. So again, like I said, all the water signs, okay? So, or Pisces. Neptune, the Hanged Man, Moon, and then the 8, 9, 10 of Cups, okay? That total completion. Then this would be complete communion with your guides, as well as happiness and all that stuff on Earth. Okay, so that's how that whole thing correlates to the calendar, right? Then you have energies of figuring out in this what kind of energy you can use these cards to figure out, help you sort of meditate and figure out what kind of energy you are in each of those houses. So these would be for your fire houses. Yes, the wands. Do you feel like you're in queen energy, king energy, knight energy, or page energy? And this would be like student messenger energy. This is fast action or action period, because and then this would be like the big decisions, being in charge, right? The control. And so you have, that's what I would do with each of these. Yes. That's what I would do. That's how it can help figuring out, pinpointing, and being a little bit intuitive with figuring out where exactly, what resonates most with you in these houses, because there's so much data, and this is like a fraction of all the data we're going to be using. Make sure I'm still, yay, we're still recording. Awesome. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do for that. We're not even, I think it's quite a catch-up week I plan. I haven't got so far. I still haven't done my photo diary yet, so I need to do that. A couple other things I haven't done. So, now what can I say here? So the overall cards for Scorpio and Scorpius, these 5, 6, and 7 of cups, this regret, this lamenting over spilled cups, and needing to grab the opportunities that still arise. Yes, it's a 5, that necessary change, right? The energy of being in a fixed water sign, the inner work of transforming inside, right? So this is at this time of year, that's the energy we're progressing through, ruled by these guys. So one thing that came to mind is other people's money. Somebody mentioned it somewhere else and reminded me that 8th house is about, it's across from Taurus, right? Taurus is your money, 8th house is other people's money. Possibly. That's a thing to think about. In terms of clients, in terms of employers, in terms of, you know, what you negotiate for yourself. So that's like an interesting twist on, you know, 2nd, 6th, and 10th houses, right? You thought you'd take care of all of that in those, but there's this inner wealth, this hidden wealth of Scorpius. And you've got the 6 of cups here, these gifts that come through, either from family or from guides, right? And I tend to think primarily of guides. It's also the soul, and one of the soulmate cards. And that would be because of contracts. Yes. So we're talking about contract. And this, the gift that makes the transformation possible. So the 7 of accepting, stepping into, or, okay, usual battery problems. So the transformation. So now this is the energy that everybody's going through between October, the end of like the last third of October into halfway into December. Okay, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to be experiencing this to the same extent, but it's worth keeping track of to see how it compares. And then what I would say is where I'm at that time of year, I'm going through my, as I've noted here, my 10th, 11th, and 12th, and my first house, depending on like a combination of the whole house system and the Regiomontanus, right? So if we get into that, then I'm dealing with this energy right? Some cardinal energy, my first house energy at the end of it, towards the end of it, yes? Okay, and before that, my 12th house energy, like 3 immutable houses, 3 finishing houses, okay? This Neptune, the free will house, the free will energy or the soul contract energy, this full communion energy, muse energy, prophet energy, the mastermind energy, proving, and all of this energy is about proving myself in all of these houses, the 10th, 11th, and 12th houses, proving myself to myself and to everybody else, and then completing, right, that particular journey, or putting it in motion, right? Like taking the career and putting it out there, right? So, but the full soul contract or the full free will, depending on, you know, what the deal is for that particular project. And that's Tower energy and Aquarius. So I've got the Hanged Man, which is basically your Jesus on the cross card. Tower and Star, the Fool, your Entrepreneur card, your, again, proving in the 8, proving yourself to yourself, proving yourself to everyone else, and then accomplishing the 10 of Pentacles, right? This is all what I hit when we're in Scorpio season collectively, okay? This isn't my 8th house. This is everybody's 8th house, what I'm going through, okay? And Devil energy, Capricorn. And then, again, I've pulled them out for another reason, but the World, I'll go grab that because I got ahead of myself, of course. The World and Saturn return, like energy, okay? So that's all there. So the question being, whether or not I feel it, what kind of energy am I in? And if we look at personality types, right? Degrees from being, you know, the messenger, the information gatherer, the guy who's got to do the dirty work, or the people that make the decisions, right? Basically, by and large, I should be King, Queen, Air, King, Queen, Water, King and Queen Pentacles, yeah. Possibly some Knight energy as well in terms of getting things done. But, and then just to really throw it all off, Knight, possibly Knight energy, probably mostly Page and Messenger energy in fire. And that's, so by and large, I'm in King and Queen energy that time of year. So that can all help me articulate it, right? In the way that, in the fastest possible way. Like a huge hot mess there, yeah? Okay, so then what we do, I'm going to backtrack with tidying this up for a moment. Because then what I'm going to do is shift over to, why does everything have to suddenly look incomprehensible to me? Okay, we're going to come back to these archetypal energies. I'm going to illustrate where my Saturn placements are, how it affects me, because I know I just did a really nice job of pulling that out where I don't remember that it goes. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of the pile. I'm going to scoop these up, yes, and put them back in order for another day. Okay, but we need, that's just another way to understand. Tell me I'm still recording. Thank you, God. Okay. I'm going to pull Mars out because I actually have a Mars placement in my 8th house. But let's put these up. Okay, not that we can necessarily see them. And again, I'll be merciful. I don't think there's much I need to review about the constellation. Nothing's coming to mind right now about that. Here, this is, yeah, the placement's in my birth chart, right? Okay, so again, I'm going to leave those there. Now, I have whole house in Gemini. My whole, if I'm going with the whole house system, my 8th house is in Gemini, completely in Gemini, because that's how whole house works and equal house works. And so then I'll show you the placements for Gemini. I have 2 planets in there, or I should say a planet and an energy orb or node, right? The lunar node. Well, not a node, but my Black Moon Lilith, shall we say. Okay, I'm going to use the High Priestess card to represent Lilith, okay, because certainly High Priestess energy is not acknowledged in other areas of traditional religion, right? Not, well, she is, but she's like suppressed, right? She's right there in the Book of Revelations, which is a hodgepodge anyway, but so now Gemini Mercury, yes, like we reviewed before. Lover's card, yes, which can also be an ethics card. In the Rider, in the Smith-Waite deck, yeah. You've got the Adam and Eve card, and we all know about what that story is all about, or not. Now, this means because it's in if it's in Gemini, then I'm gonna pull those up for a second. We have these cards, right? The Ace of Truth, God's Truth, making up my own mind. Yes, that's what a 2 is taking the initiative, like understanding. Oh, because, and remember, I make this cardinal there, not mutable as everybody else, but making up your own mind, taking that individualism, yes, and the initiative that you're going to step into this journey purposefully, this journey of knowledge, communication, community. The 3 is the manifestation card. Yes, there can be heartbreak, but there's also doing the right thing. And as I pointed out, again, yep, still recording. 3 dots to make a line, at least in geometry, and 3 points to make an article, to prove a point in journalism. Like, when's the last time that happened? But 3 at least, okay? But preferably more. And so this is where you do the right thing by finding out as much as you can. Yes, so that you can prove your point, substantiate what you know, what you say, to the point that you can actually sit well and people can know. Well, people would have to do their own research, yes, to know for sure that you've done yours. But then you have this 4 of Swords of the resting and the recovery, the stability primarily, because 4 is stability. 4 legs to keep a table standing, yes, or a chair. Well, you can have 3, but you know, it's a little bit awkward. But also you can get stuck in 4. You can find out that it's not the sandbox you want to be in. You want to be in a different one, right? So again, structures, very Saturnian, very Saturn, and that's exactly where I have. No, it's not where I have, but my Saturn is in 8th, but in Cancer. So what I have instead is right here and here, I can figure out which cards correlate to my Jupiter and my Lilith. So my Jupiter is kind of still in the first decan, the first third of Gemini. And so I would put it with the 2 of Swords. Jupiter's my energy and my empathy, okay? So now I know what's unique, what's great about this is I know that when the wheel's turning, when luck can turn, things like that, because the wheel represents Jupiter. So in addition to my energy and empathy, my ability to initiate by making decisions, yes, it falls within that card, okay? Makes sense. And then my Lilith is kind of on the cusp of 3 and 4 of Swords. So my magnetisms and my polarities, where I'm going to come into collisions, where I'm going to really bring attention to myself, even cosmically, right? Like, who's got the big brother eye in the sky, like the great architect watching and, you know, like wanting to like pull me down? Okay, in my world, we are not friends. So between doing the right thing and that stability, reaching that stability, yes? So I might constantly have problems of reaching or be challenged, like I'll have strengths, yes? I'll be very, very High Priestess in these energies. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so, but this is further proof, and that is following the whole house. Okay, now, I have a feeling increasingly that we're dealing with layers of personality, that it's not simple enough to use one house system or another house system, that they actually are are stuck working together. Now, the thing would be, given all of that, what energy would I most be in Swords energy? Yes, or more to the point, Cups energy, because Scorpio is Cups. So I mean, I would have, because Jupiter's there, and Magician, like we've got Mercury ruling, but this High Priestess energy right here, I mean, that's strong water energy. So I kind of want to say that I'd have a Queen of Cups energy there. That's okay. Queen of Cups, and then the thing cut out, time ran out. Now the question would be, do I feel like I have, where'd she go? Put her somewhere. Do I have a Queen of Swords energy there also? I want to say maybe not, because possibly at times because I'm a whole chart, but this is all younger, you know, this isn't Aquarius energy. This is the young Magician energy, right? And the Twins energy. And so we've got like, we're going to be more troublesome. So I kind of feel like I'd have Knave, the Messenger energy here. And I might default to that. So there might be might be in this house, right, some back and forth between wanting to be, hold back and be wise, and at the same time, you know, looking for trouble. But I mean, that's so Scorpio anyway. So these are things that, again, you get the approximates out, you get the archetypes out, you get the specifics out, and then you start to do that atomic thing of like, okay, what about this electron? What about this neuron? What about this? If you get what I'm saying, right? Like nothing stays put exactly. So you just start to work intuitively with what you can pull together from these things, and you don't stay stuck in it. Make a quick note, whatever, you know, and move on and release, you know, because your body will retain the memory of what you're processing. Yes, your spirit, your energy will. So that's oh, and I was saying while I was cut off, I feel like there's a layering here. At least I think I got cut off saying this, that it's not enough just to use one house system, that there's going to be, there's like 30 different house systems, but they're similar enough, yes. But I have my reasons that I put in the book for going with Regiomontanus, and well, which is the Ibn Ezra, which is he was, you know, a Jewish rabbi, extremely well traveled and well scholared, and so in terms of everything that comes from the Hebrew camp of this, you know, you couldn't ask for, and he did the best translations of the Arabic into non-Arabic, shall we say. Yes, okay. So I could think the most faithful, from what I understand, apart from Arabic scholars being able to translate, obviously. So and Regiomontanus himself, that's his nickname later on in Austria, such hugely amazing person, but to rely on the Ibn Ezra. So it's named for Regiomontanus, but he himself didn't call it Regiomontanus house system. He called it the Ibn Ezra, right? So it's just what happens. Okay, so that's the Gemini story. Now, if I move into 8th house, I just gotta put these cards somewhere that I'm not gonna screw myself up. That was whole house. If it's in Regio, then it's in Cancer and Libra, right? Now, again, I gotta pull back that. Where did I put her? So I still carry this energy, the Chariot energy, the Moon energy, yes? Okay? That means we're in Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 4 of Cups. So again, spiritual fulfillment, making that decision of who to collaborate with, who to commune with, family, guides, ancestors, why and what. Experimenting with it, manifesting with it, seeing what kind of trouble I can get into, or what it is that they, you know, starting to learn about who, you know, what it's all about, right? And maybe this could start off as being energy where I don't even know that I have guides, or you don't even know that you, right? And then you start to come into it. You start to find out in the Four of Cups, right? Oh, this is actually a bigger deal than I thought it was. And I might actually, you mean really? Oh, okay. And again, that sandbox, that stability or being stuck and going, now wait a minute, whose game am I in? Okay. So this is part of my 8th house, which is interesting. So I've got the fixed cups versus the cardinal cups. Okay. And that's 2/3 of the whole story. We're just missing Pisces. So talk about loaded. Okay. And in here, this is where I have, where do I have it? I have my Mars. Now I have Mars still in that first decan. So let's say the 2 of Cups. Okay, so my hearts and my loyalties. What I would fight for, what I would defend is this 2 of Cups. This communion of soul, like soul energy. And that could be, now we have to decide if it's in family or if it's in, like, is it it's a contract? Is it a soul contract? Is it with people that have passed over? Good. Got the battery warning, but we're still recording. Okay. And I also have Saturn right at the end of Cancer. So now what did I do with them? I have, right, I've got this energy. Boundaries, fears, calculated risks, like all of this getting in there, energy, right in the 4th house of like where you're just finding out, okay? And so maybe for a while the fears are overwhelming or nervous, like I really need to know enough before I'll make this calculated risk. Yes, because this is career energy in this, okay? This career energy in combined, like 2/3 of all the cups energy. So obviously the career in that, okay? Leo, I have no planets in. The question would be, in here, what kind of energy do I carry in here? Well, most certainly some strong fire. And let's just say, you know, easily King and Queen energy in there, because the Emperor is King of Kings. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be making heavy duty desire decisions, leadership decisions here. And then career house in the 4th. I'm going to say I would almost be inclined to say I'd have all of my cups here, because I'm going to fluctuate, because I've got the fears, control, you know, the calculate, I've got it all. And that's what I would say. That's what I would say about this one. Yeah. And so to have that understanding, now where did the, you know, you do it to yourself. You really do. And that's why it really hurts. Okay. And that's what I would say about there. Try and keep these in order. Yes. And so that's Mars and Saturn. And then in Leo, okay, so my sun, my triggers, my strength, that's all in my 8th house. Not the sun per se. I should actually, let's just put that to the side, because my sun obviously is over in Aries, not in here. But let's say the strength card, to mix, oh, no, we don't want Cancer cards here. No, we don't. Okay. So, 5, 6, 7. So now I have 5s, 2 5s, 2 6s, 2 7s. I've got 2 sets of fixed energy. Yes, so I've got necessary changes between emotion, the psychic connection, and letting go of scars, basically. Psychic scars, contract scars, battles of wills, yes. And then gifts. These gifts, do they come together all the time? These guides, from the past, family gifts, do they always come with acknowledgement? How much does this pair up? I can start to track that. This psychic transformation of becoming all of these things at the same time as standing my ground and fighting off, right? And there would be fighting off there as well. So do these always pair up together? That's what I want to monitor for a while. And then I can start to predict, I can start to take control, right? Start to actually coordinate myself, right? And so that's basically how I use, let's maybe move the death card off the screen. But what energy would I put myself in there? That's all fixed energy, so I would be inclined towards putting, that was Wands and Cups. So I would be inclined towards that card and that card. This knight always bets on himself, no matter what, and comes out winning. And this knight can be a little toxic, possibly, right? But can get waylaid. Well, but you got psychic warrior there, you got spiritual warrior there, don't you? Spiritual warrior and the guy who bets on his own horse at all odds. Okay, that's the energy for me in my Leo in my 8th house. Take all that into consideration. I'll make notes on that. Weigh it against what's been coming true for me in my notes here, and see if I'm actually even still. Thank God I'm still recording. I made a note of the fact that I was born into my 4th house and my 6th house. Oh, I guess that doesn't actually have anything to do per se with 8th house, but it does because of all that heavy 4th house energy in my 8th house. That's where I'm coming from. I feel like we're into this a bit heavy, but what I would do also is go back and just review the times of my life. The effects of Pluto and Mars, yes. Also because of my planet placements. And I'm going to rewatch these videos. I've got the meditation video, which I'll normally do, like for 4th house, it'll be up in the first week. But I have it mostly edited. I needed to come up with things. And it wasn't until this week that I found out what this means. And it's not my romantic relationship, it's another relationship, and you know, all said and done will be okay, but there's definitely a divergence in our paths that came and hit hard, and between me and my kid. So that's what that's about, and it's charted and it's necessary. So I left that out as a reminder. So if there's something that's happening for you that is, you know, breaking your heart a bit, just know that it's part of this journey, it's part of this process, and it's part of the Scorpio experience, this 8th house experience. It's something that has to do with what you need to understand about the Scorpio experience. So really all that remains as we head into, I believe, yeah, this is the end of this week, okay? And I'm finishing up my taxes and stuff like that. So I've been really plowing through other things that are tied to the energy, all my business plans for my tax return, so that they, you know, when audit time ever comes, knock on wood it doesn't, but that I've been, you know, updating them on everything that I'm doing. I've been loading tons of crap to Redbubble, to ImageKind, to like all my business, like products on my Facebook pages and all that stuff, like getting things in motion so that it's possible, you know, like, you know, that they can't really accuse me of not doing anything enough. And so then I'll get into my assessment of everything we've been through. That's why I went and did this other stuff for this video, so that when we hit this page of who you think's helping you in this house, and why and what and where, kind of, you know, with the tarot, yes, then maybe make some notes here as well. then we have as much as we can keep track of without keeping track as we head into house number 4. And so I'll be back. I realized the last one didn't upload till Thursday because I had huge problems. The file size was apparently just converting too huge, so I had to spend through the night figuring out how to, size it down to a 720 instead of a 1080 or whatever the heck I'm trying to say, 1280. And multiple tries, so it didn't go up till Thursday. And the same thing will be true for this one. I know exactly what to do, but I'm finishing this too late in the day on a Wednesday. So it'll be up. This will be Thursday when it's up, but I'll get back to getting them up on Wednesdays. And that's it. So I hope, in spite of the heartache, that you are finding that this is actually really pulling a lot of things together for you in your 8th house. Love ya. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back.